Okay, let's talk about this, the z-score, or the z-value. And that's the units marked on the horizontal axis of the standard normal curve. So in other words, these numbers here are called the z-scores, or the z-values. So z-value of 1, the z-value of 2, the z-value of 3. So it's what you would see on the standard normal curve. And this, okay, so let's go on. Called the z-values. The specific value of z gives the distance between the mean and the point represented by z in terms of the standard deviation. So what they mean is that this 1 means 1 standard deviation from 0. This 2 means 2 standard deviations from 0. This 3 means 3 standard deviations from 0. This -1 means -1 standard deviation from 0, or 1 standard deviation to the left of 0. 2 standard deviations to the left of 0, and 3 to the left of 0. So what you can do is, if you want to find the area, and you have, if you're talking about the standard normal curve and you want to find the area, what you can do is you can use a table to figure it out. Now, for some questions, you don't actually need a table, right? For example, if I said this value here, so right in the center, and that would be z equals 0, right? Because we said the center, it's centered at 0, so z equals 0. So if I asked you what's the area to the left of 0, you should be able to figure out that it's going to be 50%, because 0 is in the middle, the curve is symmetric, so half will be to the left, and half will be to the right. So for that particular z-value, for z equals 0, it's easy to know what the area is to the left of that particular z. But in general, it's not easy. In general, we can't say, not simply, what's the area to the left of some particular a. Like, suppose I said, what's the area if z is equal to 1? What's the area to the left of the curve? I'm sorry, to the left of 1. So in other words, if I asked you how much area is to the left of 1, now you know to the left of 0 is 50%, so it's going to be more than 50%. But how much more? Well, I don't think, generally, we don't know that kind of answer. However, we can look it up in the table. And the table in our course, in our book, is in Appendix C, C like Chicago, and you can look it up. And then in Appendix C, there's many tables, but we want the standard normal curve, or the standard normal table. So you can find that in Appendix C, and it's going to look something like this. So, for example, suppose we wanted to know how much area. Now, you might say, why do we want to know this? But just suppose we wanted to know the area to the left of 1.9. So what I mean by that is, going back to here, so suppose z was, we already said when z is equal to 0, we know the area to the left is 50%. But suppose z is equal to 1.9, so not here, but closer to 2, so somewhere around here. So we want to know the area to the left of here. All this area to the left. So we can use the table to figure this out. So you specify the z-value that you want to know to the left of, so to the left of 1.9. You go to the table, and the table looks something like this. It starts out at -3.4, so that means it's starting out over here somewhere. So -3.4, maybe here, saying how much area is to the left of -3.4. Now, obviously, that's a very small amount, right? The area to the left of here is just a little bit. So the area under the curve, so it shouldn't be very much. So if we look at -3.4, it's very small. Now these numbers up here mean -3.40 This one means negative 3.41. This number here means negative 3.45. So this is the second decimal digit. 0.1, 0.5, and so on. So we can be a little more precise than just negative 3.4. But if we just ask like negative 3.4, it's negative 3.40, the amount of area to the left of that is very small. It's only 0.0003. Okay, now going back, and suppose though we don't want to the left of here, but we want to the left of 1.9. Now that's going to be much more, because we already said this is 50%, so this is going to be more than 50%. So how much is it exactly, according to the table? 1.90, 97% of the area, of the total area, is to the left of 1.9. That means only 3% is to the right of 1.9. So let's look at that again. So here's 1.9. It doesn't look right, actually, but it's not right, really. This is not really drawn properly. But 1.9 to the left of here, all this area, 97% about. So to the right of 1.9 is only about 3%. Okay? So, and they do what? 1.95. That's even more than 97.13%. It's 97.44%. Okay? So that's how you read this table. That's how you read the standard normal curve table. Okay, so find the area under the standard normal curve to the left of 1.95. And we said this is how you do it. You go 1.95, and this number tells you the area. So that the stuff inside the table tells you the area. This tells me how far, tells me the z value. So the shaded area is 0.9744. And that's what we found. Here's 1.95 to the left of there. Shaded area is more than 97% of the area. It doesn't look like that here. So it's not really drawn properly. But that's the correct answer. Find the area under the standard normal curve from z equals minus 2.17 to z equals 0. So we want minus, what was it, 2.7? 2.17. 2.17, so from here, about from here to, what did it say, to 0. So how much area is there between here and here? So the table doesn't tell you that directly. But can we think about it? Can we figure it out? So I want to know, maybe they drew the picture, so let me see if they have the picture here. Here. I want to know the area between here and here. Now the table doesn't tell me that. The table will tell me how much area is to the left of here. That's what the table tells you. Is how much area is to the left of whatever value you put in. So if you put in negative 2.17 into the table, it's not going to tell you this area. It's going to tell you this area here. So let's check that. What is that area? Negative 2.17. How much area is there to the left of that? Only about 1.5%, right? So that means that it obviously is not drawn properly, but that means this area is supposed to be only 1.5% of the total area. So if you know that this is only 1.5% of the total area, can you figure out how much area this is to the right of that and to the left of 0? So yes, we can, because the area to the left of 0 from here all the way over is 50%, and the area from here to here is 1.5%, so how much is left in here? So it's 48.5%, right? 48.5%. Okay, so that's how you do it. So you can use the table, but it will tell you the area to the left of this number, and so you have to do a little bit of thinking after that. And here they say the area to the left of 0, we said 0 is right in the middle, so the area to the left of it is 50% of the area, which is this. Okay, let's go on, but let's stop the video and continue.